Former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and ex-governor of Bayelsa State, Chief Timipre Sylva, has denied any involvement in an alleged coup plot, dismissing the reports as false, baseless, and politically motivated. In a statement issued by his media aide, Chief Julius Bokoru, Silva described the allegation as part of a smear campaign aimed at damaging his reputation ahead of the 2027 elections. Bokoru confirmed that Silva's Abuja residence was recently raided by individuals believed to be operatives of the defense headquarters, leading to significant property damage. However, he said neither Silva nor his wife was in the country at the time, explaining that the former minister was undergoing medical checks in the United Kingdom and preparing for a conference in Malaysia. Reaffirming his loyalty to President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressive Congress, Silva maintained that his political career has been rooted in dialogue, peace, and democracy. No amount of political mischief will distort that reality, Bokoru stated, adding that Silva remains a committed Democrat with unwavering support for the current administration. Nze, what is your take on this matter?
Investigation will reveal. You remember that they're now talking boldly, you know, and I'm ashamed to discuss this, that from the army, the same army that came to debunk the rumor of coup attempt.
Failed coup.
They said there was no coup at that point. Now, how has it turned to be a failed coup? That you are even pointing some people that are allegedly the sponsors or masterminds. Do you see how this? Let's see. May God just deliver us from this country. You ran out, and if you remember my comment then, I told you that if anything could ever get mentioned, it means that there's something happened somewhere, because you can't have smoke without fire. I said that, and now, after their debunking of that rumor, they have finally come out to begin to prosecute. In fact, pursue prosecution and the arrest of some people. Now, Silva had been accused, because even that very day, that very period, this thing came up, they counted the 16 officers and a former governor. And the identity of the former governor was not revealed until now, that they are now accusing that Silva, on hearing about the failed attempt, had to escape.
That was exposed.
Yeah, it has been exposed now. So, and the people that are mentioning his name, if he's saying that it's a witch hunt, and it is these army officers that are witch hunting him, I don't know what he's dragging with them. And from the information from the defense headquarters, none of the army officers is from South. None of them is from Southeast. Only one came from Southwest. And the remaining 15 came from North. And how come it is Silva from the South that was able to gather all these people, if you are saying it is a political witch hunt? So, in as much as I will not agree completely that
the reporter did that the last meeting, that his residence was used for hosting those meetings, allegedly.
Both his residence, both the phone calls, both phone calls, both financial transactions, issuance of, if I may call it, phantom contracts and things like that, you know, just so that money can move from place to place and things like that. And, you know, importation of drones that will be used to lessen physical activities and physical presence and all that. So, however, what I cannot tell is what is the motive of Silva for wanting to, if at all. Because I must have to ask myself these questions. What does he want to achieve? Was he expecting that if it happens, he will be made a president?
See, that coup is military.
I know now. That's if the military takes over by ousting Governor Tinubu's, they will now.
Have you heard of that before?
No, what I mean is that they will conduct an election and they bring him in, because military is not meant to serve for long, except for the fact that Africans have this mentality that once we get in there, going out will become a problem again. Otherwise, what they're supposed to do should have been what Abdulsalam did. Yes, you got the power, you put things straight, then you bring in civilian government. So looking at this, I now was asking myself, what does he want to achieve? Some people were saying it was because he was not given a space in Tinubu's administration. But is he the only one? Was El-Rufai not ousted from Tinubu upon the fact that he fought for it? And other people like that. So he wasn't the only one. But what I cannot tell, which we must leave to government to investigate, is his interest in that. But also, I have not also agreed that he is culpable of the accusation. Yes, let investigation reveal all these things. But unfortunately, he's not in the country. And I know that the measure that was used for Nnamdi Kanu might not be used for him. Otherwise, we'll say, since they have the way of moving into other sovereign nations, countries,
the matters
and expatriating somebody.
are not the same at all, because...
But his own should be even more dangerous. Yes, his own should be more dangerous if it is true.
Failed coup.
Yes. Do you know what that means?
Allegedly, though.
Do you know what that means?
But then the defense headquarters, they said initially it wasn't a failed coup. The CDS actually said it wasn't a failed coup. It wasn't a coup attempt. That some officers were actually arrested
for disciplinary actions,
yes,
for
because,
military exercises.
And the exercise, the reasons were not very
tenable. Very flimsy.
It was like
reasons.
One would say, why would they be arrested and so much noise is made just for these kind of reasons, right? And then at the end of the day, after they said nothing of that nature happened, suddenly an ex-governor's house in Abuja is being raided on account of a coup that allegedly they said never happened.
I mean, it's no longer denying that. It's no longer denying that, So, and the chief of defense staff that came openly to make a statement via the defense headquarters, defense intelligence agency, you see that he has lost his position. And his army chief had taken over his position. Because they just had to remove him and bring in, his name is not too familiar, because while Christopher Musa was there, he was doing all the jobs. And the chief of army staff was very silent and quiet. Though I know he might be working on the ground, but his name wasn't too popular. Today I cannot explain his name. And you see how all those service chiefs lost their positions, and the army chief of staff have been promoted to chief of defense staff. And the director of intelligence in the military, I think he's just Brigadier General Udendia, has been retained, even in his position. So they have come openly to accept that there was a failed coup. And this morning I heard in the news that the position of those people, those 16 officers, have been made clear. And you see that the youngest, the lowest, is just a major. Others, in fact, two were major. The one from Air Force was a squadron leader, which is equivalent to major in the army. And the one from Navy was a lieutenant commander, which is also equivalent to major. And now the rest were infantry soldiers. And you know, these guys, these infantry soldiers are the most dangerous when it comes to military.
All right.
So if now they have come to accept that there was a coup, I call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to please sit up, consider your policies. Now that military have started, because that you arrested these ones does not mean you have arrested all the people who are angry with your style of government. And since these ones have attempted and failed, there could be other people who might have heard one or two things about this coup plot. So the areas and things that made these ones fail, others might begin to block that loophole to still succeed in it. Looking at the trend of military takeover across Africa, let Mr. President tighten his corner and change some of the policies, especially in the theater of war.
All right.
Especially, look at what is happening today. In, was it Katsina or so? Yesterday or the day before. You see the number of people that were killed, slaughtered while they were praying early in the morning. And the rest of, and when these things are happening, media will be silenced will be silent over them. Except we are now getting them from either some of the people who live over there. They will go and say, I see what thing that happened to us, see what thing that happened. Let the government empower our military and motivate them.
Right.
Give them morale. Let them fight these insurgents and bring them down to the barest minimum.